Hello, it's late November, it's a Tuesday. I'm supposed to be selling Christmas trees, but I've got so few customers today, I thought I'd nip home, get some hand axes and talk about them. We'll look at hand axes purely. We won't worry about felling, hewing or anything else one does with axes. And what I would say, perhaps one of the most important things, is it's personal. I keep having or hearing conversations where people are saying, what is the best axe? What is the best? There is no best axe. It's like clothing. It's personal. What suits you? And just before looking at these axes that I brought, I borrowed 3 from a friend, Ben, and I got one of my own. But I borrowed some other stuff which is really interesting. It's worth pausing to remember just how old axes are. They're possibly the oldest of all our tools. And here's some fairly precious stuff. I borrowed from a friend, Chris, 4 hand axes. Now, hand axes generally are thought to go back over 1.5 million years. That's long before we were human. But anyway, these, I think 3 of these are British, and they're probably 300,000 to 400,000 years old. Anyway, they're absolutely beautiful. And then I've got one French one, and I've forgotten the age of that. And then also, we found this the other day. It's a bronze axe. This is about 4,000 years old. So when you pick up a hand axe, it's worth thinking there is an awful lot of history in this. So, enough of the history. Let's look at the 4 that I brought down. We'll start with my own. Long handle, medium head, 2.25 pounds, this one. What's interesting about this is it's funny how you get used to something. I have used this for years, and only when I was thinking about making this video did I suddenly think that the handle is too long. Most of the time I hold it about here. You know, I am never holding it down here. So it's interesting that all of Ben's axes have a much shorter handle, and thinking about it, I just got used to this. The handle is far too long for what I use it for. Let's have a quick look at each of Ben's axes. Start with this little thing. Probably a carpenter's axe once upon a time. It's got a claw at the back. It's had a really rough life, but it's only like £1.5 pound or something, might even be £1, just over. Very light little thing, hard life, and this one you'd have to swing fairly hard with a little light head like that. Looking at Ben's second axe, this was his favourite, and I think this is a beauty. The axe is probably just over £2. It's got a nice edge on it, nice even sort of edge. And Ben's made this handle. Now, what an interesting shape that is. Strong there, thin there, and then like, it's not a calf's foot, but you're on the way. And that is very comfortable. I think this was his favourite axe. A little beauty. And then this one. Well, my word, this is a 4-pounder. Who uses a 4-pound axe for cutting kindling, eh? But he obviously did. The handle's been shortened, and I think if he used the slow technique, that's where this one would have been great. I did wonder when I first picked this up if it was a side axe, but it isn't. The bevel on all 4 is even. Side axes obviously are used for just straightening beams or stuff like that. Anyway, 4 kindling axes. Let's use each of them now. Ben's little light axe. We've got a sissy stick. And actually, this wood is absolutely full of woodworm. It was an old wormy plank. No, it isn't going to cut very well. Never mind, it'll all do for kindling. Okay, let's get a fresh board and try Ben's favourite axe. Oh, what a little beauty that is. What a beauty. I do like that handle. can't get over how wormy this wood is. I wouldn't be taking this kindling in before I want to burn it. I think the woodworm has gone by now, but it is quite a big deal getting insects in your house. So, yeah, any doubt at all, keep the stuff outside, and when you bring it in, burn it straight away. Now then, those techniques as just doing, you're using speed. I think we use a sissy stick now. Using a fair bit of speed, because even with this axe, which as I say is £2-ish, maybe just under £2, you need a bit of speed to drive it through. But now this one, the grandfather. Now with this one, we can do something else. We can do the slow. I don't want to be lifting and thumping that. It's too heavy. £4 is too heavy. So with this one, look at that. It hardly has to move. It's a bit slower, but it's definitely safer. I'm really not worried about using a sissy stick with this one. Actually, no, that is a delight. That is the first time I've used that axe, and what a beauty. There's the weight there, just to drive it through the little boards. It's a darling. I can see why Ben used that. I can see why he shortened the handle for that one. There is a huge conversation around what is the best axe, and I say sidestep it. Don't make it complicated. It isn't complicated. We're talking about you at home with a chopping block, a hand axe making kindling. It's not complicated. So do you want a little light axe and swing it fairly fast? A big old thing like Ben's 4-pounder, working slowly, lovely technique. This little darling with a handle that's just right, and I will quite likely adjust my own. But as I say, it's a simple thing. Don't make it complicated. Find an axe that suits you for cutting your kindling. This is not bushcraft. It doesn't need to be a compromise axe. It's a splitting axe for you at home. And we didn't get interrupted by any customers. I hope I get some soon. Thanks for watching.